Hello everyone, warm greetings to all. I hope everyone is doing well. I, Dr. Shikha Dhiman, Assistant Professor, Department of Laws, Guru Nanak Dev University, Amritsar, will be presenting on the topic Free Speech in Virtual World and the Constitution of India. Let's begin with an introduction. Freedom of speech and expression is the cornerstone of the Indian Constitution. It is the basic and the fundamental principle which lay at the very root of all the democracies in the world. Free speech is the bulk walk of democratic government. This freedom is essential for the proper functioning of the democratic process. The freedom of speech and expression is regarded as the first condition of liberty. It occupies a preferred and important position in the hierarchy of liberty. It is truly said about the freedom of speech that it is the mother of all the other liberties. In modern time, it is widely accepted that right to freedom of speech is the essence in the society and it must be safeguarded at all the times. Liberty to express our opinions and ideas without any hindrance and especially without the fear of punishment, it plays a significant role in the development of a particular society and of course for the state. The freedom of speech and expression is not only guaranteed by the Constitution or statutes, but also by various international conventions like Universal Declaration of Human Rights, European Convention on Human Rights and Fundamental Freedoms, International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, and many more. These international declarations expressly talk about freedom of speech and expression. The Constitution of India under Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause A guarantees that all the citizens have the right to freedom of speech and expression. This right is available only to the citizens of India and not available to any person who is not a citizen, that is, the foreign nationals. However, this right is subject to limitations which are imposed under Article 19, Clause 2 that empowers the state to put some reasonable restrictions on the grounds, for example, security of state, friendly relations with the foreign states, public order, decency and morality, contempt of court, defamation, incitement to offence, and integrity and sovereignty of India. Now let's talk little about the freedom of speech in virtual world. As very rightly said by Malala Yousafzai, we realize the importance of our voice when we are silenced. Digital media emerged as the best ever invention in the last 2 decades and therefore became the essential facet of every individual. Today's world is therefore considered as virtual world. In the 21st century, we are living in the age of internet where the information is on our fingertips. The internet is the new source of information in the era of technology. It allows people to share their opinions, thoughts, and participate in the global affairs. Today, the internet is a source that offers diverse services ranging from education to employment, but as it is rightly said that great power comes with great responsibility. Freedom of speech and expression means that one has the right to express one's ideas and opinions freely through the speech and other forms of media communication, but not at the cost of causing damage to the reputation of others and not being against the law by means of any false, misleading or mischievous statements. The print, radio, television and film medias have been in existence for quite some time, but there has emerged the global media of cyberspace in the recent times. That is just because of great advancements in technology. We are now in an age of information where the technology is challenging the established legal institutions, some social practices, human rights of an individual, including this freedom of speech and expression. Cyberspace is not a physical space which can be identified and regulated by the state, but it is a virtual world created by the combined use of communication and computers. It is a notional environment in which the communication over computer network occurs. It is an imaginary place where electronic messages, pictures, etc. exist while they are being sent between the computers located at different places in the world. With the growth of technologies, the cyberspace is becoming very complex and very different as compared to other public domains like land, sea, etc. Cyberspace is a virtual world and based on advancing technologies like internet, email, smartphone, personal digital assistants and computers. It is being witnessing complex activities and bringing unforeseen challenges including the threat to freedom of speech in this cyberspace. The cyberspace is an electronic media which is global, borderless, inexpensive, easily accessible and of course providing uncomplicated anonymity. There are various legal challenges posed by the creation of cyberspace which includes the exercise of jurisdiction, sovereignty, choice of law applicable and varying social, cultural and legal standards in the different countries. The state as well as private citizens use cyberspace for various activities like freedom of speech and expression, e-commerce, e-governance, e-communication and so on. In India, the first internet service was started by VSNL, that is Videsh Sanchar Nigam Limited, a Government of India enterprise on 15th August 1995. The use and misuse of freedom of speech and expression becomes more relevant as India gallops ahead towards becoming Digital India. The Digital India program is a Government of India program which started on 1st July 2015. The Government of India seeks to transform India into digitally empowered society and a knowledgeable economy. This program is towards ensuring that the government services are available to citizens online through high-speed internet and sophisticated online communication infrastructure. Digital India program is to prepare India for a knowledge future based on advancement of the information technology and its easy availability to the general public even in rural areas. This will provide easy access to an individual to propagate his ideas by way of speech and expression on the internet without any censoring from the Government of India. The Progressive Digital India program will result in the creation of broadband highways based on national optical fiber network in all gram panchayats, which will further ensure internet facilities are easily available to people even in the backward areas. However, it would also result in greater opportunities for bad elements to be able to misuse cyberspace and propagate defamatory and hateful speech and expression on internet against which an individual has no protection at all. In India, the freedom of speech and expression is not absolute and is definitely subjected to certain restrictions. Section 69A of the Information Technology Act 2000 empowers the central government to block from public access the information which it considers necessary to do in the interest of sovereignty and integrity of India, security of state, friendly relations with the foreign states or disturbances to the public order. While some may say that this amounts to censorship by the state and is contrary to the guaranteed freedom of expression to the citizens of India. There are others also who feel that the state should ensure such internet platform should not be permitted to be misused by the anti-social elements who wish to create disharmony amongst various sections of society. In a very landmark case, that is a case of Shreya Singhal, the Supreme Court of India discussed the Indian, English and US jurisprudence on the free speech and struck down Section 66A of the IT Act 2000 as being violative of freedom of speech and expression on the internet. Section 66A of the IT Act, which laid down criminal liability of a person who sends offensive messages or email on internet or other electronic media. The use of freedom of speech and expression in cyberspace and its possible misuse is very scantily covered under the provisions of the Information Technology Act, which was enacted primarily to facilitate e-commerce and e-governance. The statement of object and reasons mentioned therein stated that there was a need for bringing in a suitable amendment to facilitate e-commerce. It further stated that to prevent the misuse over transactions in electronic medium, it was proposed to create civil and criminal liabilities for contravention of provisions of the Information Technology Act. Along with that, Section 79 of the IT Act, that is Information Technology Act, contained provisions for liabilities of intermediaries only under certain circumstances. Later, the IT Act was amended and the amendment of 2008 was passed, which was notified in 2009 to keep pace with the changing online scenario with technological advancements, but the issue of protection of individuals' reputation or defamation on the internet was still not adequately addressed due to certain limitations of state control over the cyberspace. The new section 69A of the Information Technology Act empowers the government to issue directions for blocking public access to any information through any computer resource. If an intermediary fails to comply with the government directions, then such intermediary can be subjected to imprisonment for 7 years along with fine. The Government of India has framed the Information Technology Procedure and Safeguards for Blocking Access of Information by Public Rules 2009, whereby any program or information on internet or other social media can be blocked. However, in cases of defamation or hate speeches on internet, the existing police structure, the Criminal Procedure Code, that is CRPC, and the Civil Procedure Code, that is CPC, are totally ineffective due to complex nature of cyberspace. It is very difficult to define even the cause of action in the case of internet and its resultant issue of jurisdiction in the matter. Now let's talk little about the freedom of speech vis-a-vis social media and this virtual world. Emphasizing the importance of internet, the United Nations Special Rapporteur on the promotion and protection of the right to freedom of speech and expression in his report, which was submitted before the Human Rights Council, stated that the internet has become a key means by which individuals can exercise their right to freedom and expression, and hence internet access is a human right. Report further stressed that states should have ensured that internet access is maintained at all the times, even during the times of political unrest. The states were also reminded of their positive obligation to promote or to facilitate the enjoyment of the right of freedom of expression and the means necessary to exercise this right, including the internet. The states were also instructed to adopt policies to make the internet available, accessible and affordable to all. Moreover, Article 19 of Universal Declaration of Human Rights, that is UDHR, and Article 19 Clause 2 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, that is ICCPR, also provides for freedom of speech and expression even in the case of internet and social media. In its recent judgment in Fahima Shireen RK versus State of Kerala and others, the High Court has recognized that mobile phones and access through it are part and parcel of the day-to-day life. The court looked at resolutions adopted by UNHRC, that is United Nations Human Rights Council, and the General Assembly, which unequivocally point to the fact that how internet access plays a key role in assessing the information and its close link to education and knowledge. The court took the view that right to access the internet has been read into fundamental right to life and liberty as well as privacy under Article 21 of the Constitution of India. The court further added that it constitutes an essential part of the infrastructure of freedom of speech and expression. The internet has become a vital tool for upholding the right to information and free speech in India. With the increasing availability and affordability of internet access, more and more people are using the internet to access information and express their opinions on social media platforms. Social media platforms in particular have become a significant tool for free speech and expression in India nowadays. These platforms provide individuals with the ability to express their opinions, share information, and engage in public discourse. This has led to the democratization of information as well as the creation of more diverse and inclusive public sphere. The internet has enabled the citizens to hold those in power accountable. With the ability to access and share information quickly and easily, citizens can now expose corruption, highlight human rights violation, and also hold their elected representatives accountable. Now we'll discuss about the expanding boundaries of free speech in the virtual world. The virtual world has revolutionized the way individuals exercise their right to free speech and expression. With the advent of internet and social media, people now have unprecedented opportunities to share their thoughts, opinions on a global scale. The virtual world transcends physical boundaries and provides a platform for individuals to engage in public discourse, connect with diverse communities, and contribute to the formation of public opinion. Virtual world has become the integral part of our lives. It allows us to express our thoughts, opinions, the ideas very freely. With the rise of social media platforms, online forums, and digital communication challenge, the concept of free speech has transformed the physical boundaries. In the context of India, a country known for its rich cultural diversity and democratic values, the protection of free speech in the virtual world holds a very significant importance. Social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, etc. has emerged as powerful tools for self-expression and information sharing. They allow individuals to express their views on a wide range of issues, engage in discussions, raise awareness about social, political, and cultural matters. Moreover, the virtual world fosters a sense of community and belongingness as it connects individuals who shares interests, values, goals, and other things. Online forums, discussion boards, and digital platforms provide spaces for dialogues, exchange of ideas, thereby enabling the individuals to learn from each other and broaden their perspectives. The virtual world has now become a social platform which allows like-minded individuals to organize, mobilize, and advocate for change. However, in spite of having many boons of the virtual world, with the expanding boundaries of freedom of speech in the virtual world also reflects many dangerous challenges. The ease of anonymity and the absence of face-to-face interactions can lead to the proliferation of hate speech, cyberbullying, and of course, the spread of misinformation. Individuals, they may misuse the platform to engage in malicious activities. Undermining the principle of free speech can also cause harm to others. Therefore, as the virtual world continues to evolve, it is crucial to establish the law and some guidelines in order to curb the banes and challenges of free speech in the virtual world. The digital world has expanded the boundaries of free speech, enabling individuals to exercise their right to expression and participate in public discourse on a global scale. With this expansion comes the responsibility to address the challenges posed by hate speech, cyberbullying, and of course misinformation. By promoting responsible online behavior and implementing effective content moderation strategies, we can definitely foster an inclusive virtual space that will uphold the principles of free speech while protecting the well-being of individuals as well as the communities. Now let's put some light as to what are the challenges to the free speech in the virtual world. While the virtual world offers immense opportunities for a free speech, it also presents several challenges that need to be addressed, that need to be focused. One of the primary concerns is the proliferation of online hate speech and the spread of misinformation. The ease of anonymity and the vast reach of the internet can embolden the individuals to engage in hate speech, targeting specific individuals or groups, based on the race, religion, gender and many other characteristics, not only poses a threat to the well-being of those targeted, but also undermines the principles of equality and inclusivity. Furthermore, the spread of misinformation or fake news in the virtual world has also led the potential to mislead and manipulate the public opinion. The viral nature of social media platforms and the rapid dissemination of information makes it very challenging to distinguish between the factual and false content. This poses a significant risk to democratic processes as misinformation can shape public perceptions, influence elections and of course erode trust in the institutions. Another challenge in the virtual world is the phenomenon of online harassment and cyberbullying. The relative anonymity provided by digital platforms can encourage individuals to engage in abusive behavior, targeting others with the threats, insults or any other personal attacks. The psychological and emotional impact of online harassment can be severe, leading to self-censorship and silencing of marginalized voices. Moreover, the virtual world also faces the challenges of algorithmic biases and echo chambers. Algorithms used by the social media platforms and search engines often personalize content based on user preferences, leading to creation of filter bubbles and echo chambers. This can limit exposure to diverse perspectives and hinder the healthy exchange of ideas, reinforcing pre-existing beliefs and polarizing public discourse. Balancing the need to combat hate speech, misinformation and online harassment with the principles of free speech is a complex task. While regulation and content moderation are necessary to maintain a safe and inclusive online environment, there is also a risk of overreach, leading to censorship and stifling of legitimate expression. Striking the right balance requires nuanced approaches that takes into account the context, cultural sensitivities and the evolving nature of the online communication. What is the judicial approach of e-speech and expression? With the advent of new technologies, electronic media has become both popular and hyperactive. Cyber world opens up to electronic journals and digital press has become a popular channel for expression in the electronic age. However, the problem whether they truly represent the sentiments of people or whether they are only mouthpieces of some internet groups remains tantalizing. Sting operation by using electronic bugs while interviewing a person may be good in their attempts to bring out truth, but if the same is used for blackmailing a person, it is not illegal but also immoral. But it is heartening to note that there are many websites devoted to bring to light the incidents of human rights violation. In the Rakesh Om Prakash Mehra and others versus Government of NCT of Delhi, the Supreme Court of India added a new dimension on freedom of speech and expression and held that our written constitution guarantees not only freedom of speech but also freedom after speech. It further added that freedom of expression is inestimable value in a democratic society which is based on rule of law. Another historic judgment was the Secretary Minister of INB versus Cricket Association of Bengal, wherein the Supreme Court has given new dimension to freedom of speech and expression that government has no monopoly on electronic media. The court has considerably widened the scope and the extent of right to freedom of speech and expression, and thereby it held that the government as has no monopoly on e-media and a citizen has under Article 19 Clause 1 Subclause A a right to telecast and broadcast to the viewers or listeners through electronic media, television and radio any important event whichever it likes. The government can only impose restrictions on such a right only on the grounds as specified under Clause 2 of Article 19. The case of Shreya Singhal versus Union of India is the magnum opus decision of the Indian Apex Court, as it sustains the splendid bliss of basic right of citizens of India to the freedom of speech and expression against incompatible attempts under the Information Technology Act 2000 to regulate it online. The court struck down Section 66A of the Information Technology Act 2000 as it curbs free speech and expression and robs of the citizens of India of their basic inalienable freedom. The judgment of the Apex Court in this case is a gospel of freedom of speech and expression. Section 66A has had chilling effects because it creates an offence which is illusory, vague and overboard. The said provision of the IT Act fails to pass the nexus test, that is, the nexus between the law and the object which the law seeks to achieve. It also fails to establish intelligible differentia between the law and Article 19(1)(a). The said provision of the IT Act does not pass muster of public order, decency, morality, defamation, incitement to an offence, sovereignty and integrity of India, security of the state and friendly relations with the foreign states tests as it is given under Article 19 Clause 2 of the Constitution of India. The said provisions of the IT Act suffers from the vice of impatient and intolerant, which is contra to the fair and fearless voice. The speech on public issues is advocacy and heart of democracy that needs to be protected. However, incitement, defamation, obscenity is to be prohibited on different pedestals. In every society, it's progressive or less progressive, there are challenges to a free, fair and fearless speech on the public issues, and there are always contests between legislatures and executives to curb such fair speech because of intolerance and impatience. And in this contestant scenario, the independent judiciary became the repository of the confidence of the people, has a greatest role to convey the right not to be impatient and intolerant. The ban of TikTok. The case highlighted the inability of Indian laws to prevent the exploitation of the children. In this case, the ban imposed by the Madras High Court on the immensely popular app, that is TikTok, was lifted, though the app is yet to be available again on app stores. While the ban itself had raised concerns for content regulation in India, making its court's decision to lift it a welcome one, a persisting issue is the vulnerability of children online. This is an issue that the TikTok ban brought to the fore and a concern which the court reiterated even it has lifted the ban. In particular, the case exposed the weaknesses in the Indian laws towards the safeguarding the Indian children online. To remedify this, the court further suggested that the enactment of the Act along the lines of Children's Online Privacy Protection Act 1998 of the US, looking at the current laws in the India as well as the upcoming Personal Data Protection Bill of 2018 in the context of TikTok's case. It is very clear that not just a privacy law, but an approach that protects children online as a whole is very much required. Now let's conclude the topic. A civilized country isn't one in which individuals have the complete right to express themselves, but instead the one in which one's right to freedom is well regulated on following others' rights. On the social media, exercising one's right to free speech and expression can lead to the invasion of privacy and defamation. Again, what constitutes offensive content differs from person to person. A cartoon is an innocuous method to have fun. However, the person who is targeted may take an offense. Hate speech, racist statements and religious feelings, on the other hand, have diverse connotations for different people. The internet is open cyberspace where you can make and share your opinion with the people around the world. the right to freedom of speech and expression is subjected to reasonable restrictions so as to maintain law and public order in the state. The Constitution of India also guaranteed the right to the internet as an integrated part of right to life and personal liberty under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. We have seen multiple cases where the internet is a basic human right of an individual. Right to internet is subjected to reasonable restriction by the government. Arbitrary orders to suspend the internet services is abuse of power. Government should adopt alternative remedies to deal with public disorder and avoid an absolute ban on the internet services. An absolute ban on internet services leads to the disruption in sharing of information, trade and commerce through the internet and other services that are completely relied on the internet. This virtual world and its impact on free speech in the context of Constitution of India presents a dynamic and multifaceted landscape. The virtual world has significantly expanded the boundaries of free speech, allowing the individuals to share their thoughts, engage in different public discourse and of course participating in the public opinion at a global scale. However, this expansion has brought forth numerous challenges that needs to be addressed so as to ensure some healthy and inclusive environment. The legal framework that governs the free speech in the virtual world, primarily governed by the Information Technology Act 2000, plays a very crucial role in protecting the user's right, which addresses the issues and complexities of online communications. However, there are some broad and ambiguous provisions of the law that has raised the concerns regarding the misuse and the chilling effect which may have on the free speech. Balancing the need to combat hate speech, misinformation and online harassment with the principles of free expression requires a careful approach. As this virtual world continues to expand, continues to evolve with the new technologies like AI, VR, AR and blockchain that presents the new opportunities and challenges for free speech. While these technologies offer exciting possibilities for self-expression and creativity, issues related to biasness, authenticity, privacy and decentralization needs to be carefully addressed to protect the principles of free speech and individual rights. To navigate these complex issues, collaboration between the intermediaries, governments, civil society organizations and the users themselves is very crucial. Dialogues, engagements and ongoing evaluation of policies and practices can definitely foster a more inclusive and democratic virtual world that will uphold the principles of free speech while safeguarding the well-being and dignity of individuals. Similarly, the virtual world provides unprecedented opportunities for free speech, enabling the individuals to express their opinions, engage in public discourse and shape public opinion. However, it also presents challenges related to content modernization, legal frameworks, emerging technologies and the balance between free speech and other constitutional values. By promoting transparency and accountability and the collaboration among stakeholders, we can definitely navigate these challenges and create an inclusive digital environment which will uphold the principles of free speech and also protect the individual rights and will also foster a vibrant and democratic society in the virtual world. Thank you everyone for your time and attention. We have discussed the entire concept in this short span of time and I hope that the listeners have understood the topic. Stay safe, stay healthy, God bless you all, take care.